warning before you listen. This epic is not for children, nor for the faint of heart. We retell the ancient Greek myths as they were born, unfiltered, unsoftened. Scenes of violence, curses, betrayals, and a hunger for power that shows no mercy. Given the many conflicting versions of the Titan War, the events have been rebuilt to complete the missing pieces. Here, we tell the myth as it was meant to be told. Sources and references are listed in the episode description. Chapter 58. From the War of the Titans, Clash of Weapons, and the Fall of Time. The Rise of Death. The Descent of Hades into the Earthquake Field. A landslide whispered through the cracked terrain. Murmurs echoed from the wounds of the earth. Screams strangled themselves mid-birth. When all believed the end had begun, that Atlas had become the mountain no soul could cross, that time itself had betrayed them. Just as the 100 hands had failed to hold it back, something appeared. Something only death could have expected. The air shivered. Stones rained from the sky. The earth howled beneath Atlas's wrath. And then a sound rose. Not from a mouth, but from the underworld's own throat. A roar, so sacred, so violent, it halted the blows, shattered the screaming, and froze terror mid-beat inside the enemy's chest. It was as if the mountain had vomited in fear of what it saw. Everyone froze. The giants gasped. The eagle soldiers hovered still in air. Even Atlas, who had never stopped since the moment of his birth, lifted his arm in hesitation. As if something ancient, something before time, had slapped him, without touching him. Then the ground exploded, and from the splitting earth rose a shadow unlike any being. Hades. Yes, Hades. But not the Olympian god of stories. No, what stepped out now was something older than fear, harsher than time, more honest than despair. One soldier fell to his knees, whispering, "He has returned." A woman sobbed, eyes bleeding from disbelief. "It's him. He doesn't come to save, he comes to redefine death." Then they came. The soldiers of the underworld. As if resurrected from the mouth of apocalypse, their faces ash, their swords dripping curses, their march judgment, not advance. Every boulder Atlas had hurled hung motionless. Mountains mid-collapse paused in the air. Even Atlas's voice choked in his throat. His laughter curdled into the cough of a god who could no longer believe his eyes. Hestia, blood trailing her lips, whispered, "Who said we were defeated? Even death now fights for us." And all saw what no mortal, no god, no dream had ever dared imagine. Hope crawled out of the graves of hope. Salvation arrived, on feet of fire, wearing a face unknown to life. Hades, yes, Hades, returned from the seafront, his blood not yet dry, the ashes of the last battle still clinging to his form. But he didn't need rest. He was rest, the eternal kind. He appeared atop the mountain, walking not on stone, but on shadow itself. Each step summoned a curse to walk beside him. He raised his hand, and the ground obeyed, splitting as though it had waited lifetimes for his command. And from the chasms came a host that belonged to no time, an army of the dead, emerged from cracks, rifts, stone wombs. Hundreds, thousands, ashen faces, blades of silencing death. The giants froze, the eagles gasped again. Even Atlas raised his arm once more, confused by an unseen force unraveling his certainty. Hestia, her blood dripping from her brow, said, "It's him, the undying, the uncalled, the one who arrives when life itself refuses to save you." Darkness knelt at his feet. He raised his hand again. The earth bloated open like a river of rot, and from it, flaming chariots emerged. His soldiers mounted them, and then Hades spoke, not with a voice, but with a command that could never be disobeyed. "Take them! Take them! Leave nothing behind. And those who resist, return them to before birth." What followed felt more like dream than war. Demeter was lifted from the rubble. Hestia carried on the shoulders of shadow. Briareus and Cottus hoisted like heroes, and the corpse of Gyes, wrapped in a shroud of ash, buried with chants only the dead could understand. And while the sky was grinding itself into dust, and the land gnawed at their heels, Hades screamed. But it was no scream. It was closure, a cry that sealed the path, as if doomsday itself had come to lock the way behind them. Hades withdrew, and with him his entire hell. The earth collapsed behind their escape, not with stone, but with that cry. A cry no one could translate, no one could write, no one could forget. The battle didn't end in silence. It ended in awe. Because no one who witnessed what happened said, "We survived." They all said, when death arrived, life itself learned how to hide. This chapter of the epic has come to an end, but remember, what you've just heard is not a record of facts, but the echo of a myth, a story born from the imagination of the ancients, etched into the long memory of humankind. If this tale stirred something in you, if it opened a door to reflection or wonder, don't forget to support the channel and share the journey with those you love. And in the comments, tell us which moment in this chapter struck you the most and why. We'll meet again in the next chapter of this audio odyssey through time. Until then, farewell.